Hello and welcome to a programming video made by yours truly, Jackson B of Team 4250, the Lightsabers. In today's video, I will be showing you how to use the while loop and the TensorFlow program to read the ring stack. A while loop asks if the variable or variables inside its parentheses are true, and if they are, then it will run the program inside of it indefinitely, looping back to the top when it gets to the end. The first thing we are going to do to make it so we can read the starter stack is comment out the if statement before the while loop and in the bracket at the very end of the loop. Next, change the variable in the while loop to isStop to exclamation mark isStop requested with a lowercase I, capital S, and uppercase R. Then put an opened and closed parentheses after it. This asks if the robot is stopped, and the exclamation point in front of it means the opposite of. So the loop will ask if the robot is not stopped, and if it is not stopped, it will keep going. So the loop will ask if the robot is not stopped, and if that is true, it will do all of the code inside of the while loop. Next, put two ampersands, the squiggly thing that should be on your 7 key on your keyboard, inside. Then put opened and closed parentheses, and inside them put the variable we created in the last video, stack camera stop, inside. We'll change this variable to false later in the program to stop the while loop. The next lines of code ask if tfod is running, opens up a list of all the possible things it could see, then asks if it sees something on that list. It then gives some telemetry. Next, it asks if it didn't see anything, in which case it puts some telemetry on the driver station. Now, under the second telemetry.addData, we're going to use the target zone variable. We're going to write target zone with a capital Z equals 1. And then put a semicolon at the end. We use this farther down in the code to determine which target zone we take the wobble goal to. After this is an else statement with more telemetry telling us how large the object that it sees is. After this is an else statement with more telemetry telling us how large the object that it sees if there are links in the starter stack is. After this is an else statement that has telemetry telling us how big the starter stack is if there are rings in it. Afterwards are two more statements for the B and C target zones, and we'll do the same thing we did for the A target zone if statement. For the B if statement, write target zone equals 2 with a semicolon at the end, and for number 3, we'll write target zone equals 3 with, again, a semicolon at the end. After these two lines is an else statement saying if it doesn't recognize the number of rings, then put some different telemetry on the driver station. Next come two closed brackets down from the telemetry.update line and create a small space for yourself. Here we're going to write camera number plus equals 1 semicolon. This will make our camera number variable go up 1 each time we go through the while loop. Now remember how I said the while loop would run indefinitely if we didn't set one of the variables to false? This if statement we are going to write will do that for us. Press enter and type if space open parentheses camera number equals 20,000. That's 2 followed by 4 zeros. Then the reason we type 2 equal signs instead of just 1 equals is because 1 equals signifies you're setting the variable to something, while 2 equal signs signifies that you're asking if it is set to something. Now, you're also going to put a closed squiggly bracket right under that line we just made, and press enter, and that should give you some room to work. In between these brackets, you're going to type stack. In between these brackets, you're going to type stack camera stop equals false, add a semicolon, press enter, and type camera number equals 0. So what this if statement does is once you've gone through the loop 20,000 times, it will set stat camera stop to false, which will invalidate this while loop and end it so that we can go on to the rest of our code. This number does not have to be 20,000, it's just a starting number. It's really long. We use 2,000 in our code, but you might want to use a little bit more because that's right on the borderline of what works. This has been an informative programming video with me, Jackson B of Team 4250 The Lightsabers. Thank you for watching, and tune in next time for a video about how we use the TensorFlow to path plan. Stay safe, and may the Force be with you.